now that we are here, you know what I mean? It's, you know, at the end of the day, I always try to look for the commonality. When I see that something is an issue, I always try to look for the common denominator as to what might be causing this issue. What is the root cause of this affliction? Why is everybody out here acting the hell out? And I want to show you something that I noticed real quick, and tell me if you see anything that might bind these individuals together. You tell me. I was looking on the internet, and boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. You know what I'm saying? A picture is worth 1,000 words. You know, we got some people that are on the flyer, and you know, people ask me, well, how is this person an industry plan? How is that person an industry plan? I'm like, well, you got to tune into the show, you know, and we'll put you up on game. But I just want you all to notice right here in this picture, you know, that's a picture of Sexyyred at the top with her devil horns on. And that's a picture of Doja Cat in her video. Where she,
that's about right.
Yeah, she appears to be on the head of the devil. Then you got Lil Nas X with his eyes are illuminated. He has devil horns. You have a couple more stills from that video from Doja Cat. She has a few extremely demonic videos. I think she's a straight up Satanist at this point. But those two bottom pictures, you know, you see her one where she's with the Grim Reaper and she's dressed as the Scarlet Lady. And you see another one where she has the devil horns as well. And in the middle, you see these tattoos from our good friend Adam 22. People don't understand that Adam 22, we're going to get into some of the things that he said that are extremely questionable today, but he also has an inverted cross tattooed under his eye, and he has a Baphomet tattoo on his hand. And if you look at his side, you can see that he has an image of people burning in hell on his side. So that was just a common link that I noticed with a lot of these artists that are out here. It seems that in just about all of them, there's some type of satanic imagery, or some type of satanic gesture at some point or other. And I'm kind of well versed in the studies of the occult. I'm not an occultist, but I study these things so that I can understand them, so that I can recognize them. I want everybody to understand the difference, okay? So, you know, when you see some of these things, and there's this page, one of the most lit pages on YouTube, The Truth Is, y'all got to check out that page, because these artists, they tell them themselves all the time. I got a couple other things I want to show you, and then I'll get your reaction, just to piggyback off of what I was saying there just now. Yeah.
As far as this music stuff, I won't be doing this music stuff anymore. I started this because this was my dream. And, you know, I wanted to make sure I could get me and my kids out the hood. It's always been my passion to rap. A while ago, I had signed a contract, and I didn't know nothing about the business or this game out here. And just right now, I'm realizing that I signed my soul. I sold my soul to the devil. I signed myself to the devil. I don't even own myself no more. I sold my soul to the motherfucking devil, and I done prayed. I prayed and I prayed and I prayed. You know, it's just like, I don't know if God can get me out of this.
So there's one, and here's another. There's plenty of these. Plenty of artists have said this, but here's another one, just real quick.
Sell my soul. Should I just tell them the truth?
She sold it for a double cheeseburger with mac sauce.
With extra onions on it, baby. Don't play. It's time for me to just keep it 100 with y'all. Like, yes, they got me in this shit. I don't know. I can't get out of it. I'm getting too much money. I don't want to get out of it. That's what y'all wanted to hear. Now I'm saying it.
So, you know, we have a couple of artists there sharing how they sold their soul to the devil. Of course, a lot of people going to be, oh, they don't really mean that. They ain't for real. Man, you just tripping. You making too much of it. But this is what came out of their mouths. Kanye West has said this, and other artists who seem to be real kind of out there. have said this type of thing. You understand what I'm saying? So what do y'all make of it?
You know, I've been around somebody I grew up with, and a lot of times people think that it's just celebrities that sell their soul. That's why it's so hard for people to believe that, because they don't be around everyday people that do it on a norm.
Yeah.
A lot of the biker gangs, I wouldn't say biker gangs per se, but a lot of the biker clubs. One of my close friends, well, I would say good friend, I wouldn't say close friend, but his father was a Mason. And a lot of those guys that roll in a lot of those bike clubs are Masons. They're Freemasons. Yeah. And his father wanted to get out of that club. And once you sign in as a Mason, it's hard for you to get out. I'm not sure if it was him that wanted to get out or his son, because he got his son in it. And I think he wanted to get out as well, but I think he had to sacrifice himself in order for his son to be free from the organization. His son is no longer with that organization anymore. He's not a Mason. He got up out of there. But in order for him to get up out of there, his dad got sacrificed.
Wow.
And those things are real. You know, I'm telling you straight up from things that were said from him, things I saw for myself. A lot of times when you get caught up in selling your soul, some kind of sacrifice has to go on in order for it to be free, you know? And you know, thinking about that, I know people won't kind of correlate the two, but even when you look at the new movie now, what's that? Final Destination, Bloodlines. Like, there has to be some kind of cut-off sacrifice from that in order to stop continuance from continuing on to the next generation. Stuff like that, even though it looks like it's just entertainment, it's real shit. Like, you get caught up into certain entities, demonic energies, realms. It's hard for you to cut that off without a sacrifice in some form of fashion. And it gets real deep. And I think a lot of people don't want that conversation because it ends up like, they're like, yo, I don't want to get too deep into anything. I just want to live my life, party, and die. And I think that is one of the reasons why this type of conversations don't get brought up a lot, because it really scares people when they start to go down that rabbit hole. So when I see people like Sexyyred and all these other people that's blowing up, and you saying, damn, how the hell are they blowing up like that? And then the people that we know that have real skills can't even make it. You know, a lot of them out there, either they're barely making it, they're comfortable right now, or they homeless and died off broke, you know. And then you got these people with no talent that's just being elevated to the next level. Now you got this girl, Fairy. Oh gosh, that song drives me nuts. And already they pushing it out the door. You got the dude Helly, what the hell? And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what really people. And then you start to see who they connected with, and then you start to see it's the same process, it's the same kind of ritual and the same kind of gimmick that they push out there. And the people that get affected by it is our children, because they don't know no better. They don't go down the rabbit hole. So a lot of times you see a lot of these industry plants and we laugh about it and think it's entertainment, but these people are being paid to send out a demonic message, a demonic image, and propaganda that is straying our children away, dividing our community to be more violent towards each other. And it really diverts everybody from unity and educating themselves the correct way when you have this propaganda foolishness and these so-called leaders or people that people worship that's out here spewing that. So their words are more powerful than somebody who's not on that level. So when they have that megaphone for these garbage ass people, it echoes and damages a lot of people. Now, people like us, we understand the game, but we are the minority and those are the majority. So when we see industry plants, just know that shit is nothing to play with and something that you have to talk about and steer away all your family and friends from in order for us to proceed in a healthy way.
Yep. All facts. Bobby, what's cracking? What you got?
Yeah. You know, the thing with that is, and this is something that I want people to understand when it comes to this as well. When you hear these artists talk about, or when these people talk about how they sold their soul or what have you, people think, or I guess the misconception or the belief as they understand it is that, you know, basically I think, and some people, they may not think this exactly, but they don't really actually think about the process in depth. So really they're left to just their imaginations with it. But some people just might visualize some, you know, old school little Looney Tunes 1920 circa cartoon where some little horn red guy with a cape and some hose pops up with like a little pitchfork and a contract and says, sign on the dotted line. And someone signs on it. It's like, I have your soul. It's not like that.
Right.
All right. And truth be told, once it gets to that point where there is a contract signing or where there's an obligation, what people don't understand is that that was happening way before then. I told you guys, I recommend you guys that movie. I don't know if you saw it, Major Nefarious.
I haven't seen it yet.
That when that possession, I'm not going to give anything away, but there's a scene in there where the demon is talking to the psychiatrist, and he's going back and forth. He's, you know, they're engaging in banter, and then the psychiatrist, he's an atheist, so he doesn't believe in God. He doesn't believe in the devil. So to him, this whole concept of this demon possessing this guy and, you know, making him commit these killings, it sounds ludicrous, but he's kind of intrigued by what he's saying.
Yeah.
And then so he basically asks me, says, so how does it work? He's like, you know, you just go ahead and jump at the person, or it's like, no, we need consent to do that, to possess this person. Like, well, how does that work? They say yes. He says, no, it doesn't work that way. He said, it's not just a one-time yes. It's a series of yeses. Mm-hmm. And he said, this guy that we have, and the guy that he possessed was incarcerated. He was facing the death penalty. He was about to be executed that night. They just need the psychiatrist to evaluate him and sign off saying that, yes, I find him perfectly sane and able to stand for execution. Okay. If he found that he was insane, then he was like saying, well, we can't execute him because he's legally insane. Therefore, he can't be held responsible for what he did. So we just have to basically warehouse him. Mm-hmm. The guy said, we targeted him from childhood.
Wow.
And he said,
wow.
It started off with small things. Steal something, shoplifting, lying. We kept presenting the temptation in front of them, getting them to say yes, and gradually it worked its way up to bigger and bigger and bigger things. Mm-hmm. And before long, it ended up being, before you even got the murder, he finally said yes so much that basically he couldn't tell right from wrong anymore. And once they had him at that point, that's what they had him.
Wow. That's remarkable. I got to see that movie this week. Go ahead.
And again, you know, we're talking about certain things. Sometimes films and entertainment will give you the truth, because you have to understand, these people that come up with these movies and these books and these shows and everything and this music and everything, you have to understand, these are people writing from what they know or what they think. This isn't when they're just pulling from the abstract. When people are giving you entertainment, what they are doing is they are informing you. Every movie, it doesn't matter what it is, every movie, every cartoon, every TV show, every billboard, everything you see is fighting to gain access to the most valuable real estate in the world, your mind. They're trying to get access to between your ears. That's priceless. I don't think people understand. If you look right now, and you don't have to believe me, there's nothing about me that's that credible where you should just take anything I'm saying at face value. I empower you to check everything I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Go right now, do your digging on Indeed.com, Glassdoor.com, do your Chat GPT research, whatever.
Yeah.
Look and see how much the marketing and the advertising industry rakes in. This is if it's not in the trillions yet, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Of course it is.
These people are racking their brains. They're going over the latest science, the latest data, statistics, all kinds of resources from countless sources, trying to figure out what are people thinking? How are they thinking?
Yeah.
And most important of all, how can we get them to think what we want them to think?
Mm-hmm.
They did research, and we're talking about years and years ago. One of the reasons why the most popular colors you see in fast food logos are green and yellow and red, I believe. I think those three are the most popular colors, red, yellow, green. They said it's because they did the studies and they shown that those three colors, not necessarily connected, but those three colors, especially yellow, have been found to suggest hunger in the brain.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
So you look at a Subway logo, you look at a McDonald's, a Burger King logo, whatever. You see it, and there's a chance. It's not. That doesn't mean that as soon as you see the logo, I got to go eat.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are on the fence, there's about maybe an 8% chance that you're going to get something in the restaurant.
Yeah.
Just so much as tipping in 3 or 4% in the direction of saying yes to them is a big deal, and it makes a difference, and it's in dollars and cents.
Yeah.
When you're talking about billions of dollars, a 3 or 4% difference is huge.
It is. It is.
So when we talk about selling your soul, whenever, it's not just a case of this. They do brain typing. They know certain people are going to be more likely to do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why it's so important that those of us who are parents, that you are raising your child properly with morals and strong character and integrity.
Yeah.
Because every day your child is outside your house and sometimes inside your own house, they're being presented with small, minor compromise of character.
Yes.
Say yes to this. Say yes to that.
I like where you're going.
Say yes
with
to
it.
this. Say yes to this. And before long, you get to a point where they're in the position, if God has blessed them talent or skills, where they are selling their souls later on down the line.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Right.
Because they said yes to so many minor things before. By the time the big thing comes here, the stuff that you and I would look at and be like, oh, hell no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
For them, they don't have that same barrier because it's been chipped away and eroded at for so long.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So keep that in mind. When you see the sexy reds, the Lil Nas X's, this wasn't a one-time thing where they just saw dollar signs and said, I'm with it. They were like a Little Caesar's pizza. They were hot and ready a long time ago.
And
these companies, especially in Hollywood now, we've been saying for the longest time how the industry tries to program people, they try to control the distribution and everything. They're at a point of the reason why we question, well, why doesn't so-and-so get signed their talent is because they don't want that anymore. It used to be they had A&Rs pretty much boost you up and promote you and get you on the streets. But they learned over time what the streets always knew. You cannot, and Kendrick talked about that as well too, you cannot fake influence.
That's real.
And so they're saying, you know what? Rather than go ahead and do this, we've already perfected the process of making somebody a superstar. We've been putting out whack-ass one-hit wonder artists for years. We're good with that. What we can't fake is the influence. We can't fake the streets. So we need to find people that's got a huge social media following. Who's popping? Who are people naturally gravitating towards? And if we can bring them in the fold, we can make them the superstar. We just need the eyeballs.
Manifestations 2020.